Hello everyone and welcome back to another album review. And in this video I'm going to review 7 Horses for 7 Kings by To Comm. This is another one of those albums from this year that it took me a while after finally listening to it and finally reviewing it. In fact, this is an album that was released back in January. It's almost 12 months, almost an entire year since the release of this album, and I will see it pop out here and there, but I didn't get into actually listening the album up until recently. And it's one of those albums that took me a while until grasping almost everything that is going on with it, because this is a hard listen, but out of everything in To Comm's discography, this was definitely the album that was talked about the most, and I can see why. This is a really nice and really interesting album, and upon listening to it over and over again, I think it would be appropriate to at least mention it because there are lots of things going on in here, and it's a definite recommendation for an album that was done in this year, especially if you're looking to something more underground and something that has a quite horrifying feel to it. One of the things that definitely sells this album is this incredible and absolutely terrifying album cover, but getting into the album itself, you realize that it's even more horrifying than what the actual album cover over here presents. And this was actually a pretty good year for some unsettling albums, and I think what To Comm did with this album is definitely worth mentioning. This album is just filled with so many layers of drone and experimental music. It leans into dark ambient the most, but the intriguing thing about this album is that it has lots of different musical elements, and there is a very rich and vast array of different instrumentations, consisting some electroacoustic elements, some sort of epic and intense percussive moments, and also some really creepy horn section. The album itself is a bit long, it's 13 tracks and it's an hour of material, but the good thing with this album is that, like I said, it goes into lots of different elements, there is a vast array of instrumentations, and so the album manages to keep you interested throughout this whole thing. However, there are truly some occasions where the sound might not be my cup of tea, or I would think that some of the dark ambient sections or the whole instrumentation in general would not end up into some of the most fascinating results. But the album, especially in the beginning, it makes an impressive introduction with the very first tracks, Asphodel Mansions and A Miracle No Mother Child at Your Breast. There are 2 tracks that really managed to get you into the mood of this album. The introduction simplifies things, but the second track is a 7-minute marathon of lots of different sounds coming from all over the place, and it's done in a pretty good way. The album just progresses, keeping some quite intense and very nice moments that consist of moments where you don't know whether you should be relaxed or just at the edge of your seat. Because the album focuses a lot of ambient and drone, there are lots of relaxing moments. There is not that much to a specific rhythm or a melody or a pattern into any of these songs. Most of the tracks are quite experimental, and it keeps a main focus on the feel on this album, which, like I said, at the most part, it's horrifying, it's unsettling, it's really dark. It also manages to keep things mysterious and unpredictable. You don't really know what you're listening to with most of the stuff, or what's going to come up next. I like the unsettling feel on tracks like Fly On You. Later sounds like a really depressive shortcut. Then one of my highlights has to be the immaculately sounding The Deseret Alphabet, and then some of the last moments, some of the lengthier ones, are the ones that manage to keep my attention, having some really nice reputations throughout all of those ambient and drone sections, with tracks like Angel Investor, and also the very last one, which goes for almost 10 minutes long, and it has a massive title that I'm not going to say right now. It's with some of the shorter moments where I would feel like something is missing, or I would say I would like something more, with tracks like Seimrechye or Rameses II, or if not, not. There are some moments where the album feels like it loses its impact, just because it's a mess of an album, trying to be lots of different things in one, or there are just some ideas that I feel they could be done better, or he would drag them for something more and we would have a better result. He could cut some of the tracks out of the album and just keep some of the key moments with some of the lengthier tracks, and we would have a much better experience in my opinion. But for what it is, this is a lengthy album, it's a bit challenging, there are lots of things going on, some of the ideas it could be better executed in my opinion, but still this manages to be one of my highlights of albums from this year. I don't think there are lots of albums from 2019 that sound like this, and yeah, there were lots of weird and unsettling albums from this year, but this is one of the better ones in my opinion, and definitely one you need to check out if you haven't already. You might find this more captivating than me, but still, this is a very nice experience. I'm going to give this album a 7 out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it, dislike it, why, and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.